invite you to the craziest challenge for the year 2022. It's called the 66,795 push-up challenge. I'm just going to call it the push-up challenge. So I embarked on this challenge last year, and it's a very simple challenge. It's just called the push-up challenge. January 1st, 1 push-up. January 2, 2 push-ups. January 3rd, 3 push-ups. Ultimately, December 31st, 365 push-ups. You just add one more push-up every single day. It's a total of 66,795 push-ups. And you might be thinking like, Father, that's crazy. I could never do 365 push-ups in one day, and I could never do 66,795 push-ups in a year. And I just want to tell you, you can. Because you want to know what? I'm on day 319 right now, which is crazy. But this is a challenge which you can actually accomplish and do. And I'm just going to tell you, it will change your life if you commit to this challenge. I have learned so much by doing this challenge, and in this video, I'd like to share with you some of the things that I have learned by doing this challenge. And you can join this challenge actually by texting push-up to 84576. 84576. If you want to join this challenge for 2022, doing 1 push-up on January 1st, and then just simply doing 1 more push-up every day for the rest of the year, text push-up to 84576. So I want to break it down to these 10 things that I have learned by doing the push-up challenge, which is actually the 66,795 push-ups in 1 year. This is what we've learned. Number 1 is this. What is just one more mentality is really profound. So there's really simplicity when you think about this challenge. It's a simplicity factor that grows your confidence in amazing ways. Looking back and thinking the fact that it just started with 1 push-up and then just 1 more every single day. There's a lesson here in consistency. Short time sacrifices lead to long-term gain. Short-term sacrifices lead to long-term gain. This confidence will spread in other areas of your life. It ultimately says this: success is simple with just doing 1 more. I mean, imagine applying this to reading just 1 more page out of a book, to spending 1 more minute in silence every day, doing 1 more kind deed. The concept of just 1 more, it's profound. Short time sacrifices lead to long-term gain. Number 2 is this: commitment to consistency. The majority of us struggle with consistency in our life, and this challenge trains you that consistency is really, really powerful. Doing something small every single day for a year is impressive. So never before can I actually say in my life that for 365 days straight, I worked out every single day. I can actually now say that. And the daily grind ultimately pays off. I can also tell you that consistency is also what breaks someone down, or lack of consistency is what breaks someone down. So I started off this challenge. I invited a whole bunch of my peers and friends, and I also invited a whole bunch of high school students that I coach and high school students from the parish to join. And talking to the many who are no longer part of this challenge, what happens is it's a breakdown in consistency. You miss 1 day, and you're like, oh, I'll get back at it the next day. You miss 2 days. My experience of just like talking to those who have fallen, I'll refer to them as my fallen brothers, all it takes is 2 days, and then you literally give up and you'll never go back to it. That's why consistency is so absolutely key in all of this. The reality is, what I found is that missing 1 day isn't worth it. When I was like climbing up to the day like 60 and 70, there was like 1 or 2 days where like I would miss a day, and I could literally feel how much harder it was to actually crank out the extra 2 push-ups when I came back in. Consistency is key, and in our lives, like, consistency is good. It's good going to bed on time, waking up on the same time, eating good food every single day, praying every single day, spending time serving others every single day. Think of your relationships. What do you need in a relationship? What do you need in your marriage? What do you need in your relationship with your friends? Consistency. What do your children need? Consistency. But what do we struggle with? Consistency. And that's why this challenge is such a benefit, is that it's about a commitment to consistency. Number 3, This challenge teaches you that procrastination never pays off. I want to call it an anti-procrastination tool because it trains you to not put something off. The further you get into this challenge, the more you realize that procrastination is terrible. I'll just go ahead and say it. Procrastination sucks. So here's the reality. Like these are the thoughts that go through our minds all the time. I'll do it later. I'll put it off. I'll do it tonight. Give me 5 more minutes. But the reality is that this challenge teaches you, don't wait, stay on top of it, crush it now. I'm just gonna tell you, 300 push-ups in the last 20 minutes of the day before you go to bed is terrible. It teaches you that consistency with being on top of it throughout the day is how you crush any of your goals. You have to act now. You can't put it off. You can't put it off. 300 push-ups before you go to bed, this is going to tell you, it's terrible. Number 4 is that your body lies to you. Your body lies to you, and your body is a liar. So our body tells us, I'm tired, not right now. Do it later. I'm sore, not today. I can't. And that is a lie. This challenge has taught me so much. Like I remember learning so much about hey, today's arm day and leg day, and you should never work out the same muscle every single day because your body just can't handle it. Well, you want to what? Your body lies to you. The reality is you can push through the pain and you can push through the days where you feel sore and you actually realize, wow, I actually just did what I did yesterday, but in fact I did more because I did one more push-up. Our body lies to us. Our body and the emotional and the mental games that we play with ourselves, the resistance that we put up to ourselves is actually, it's a battle, but it's a battle of a lie that you can't do it. The lies that run through our head are very, very loud. And this challenge has taught me that I can push beyond those. So don't listen to the lie. Don't allow the fear and the lies that go through our head to consume you. Number 5, I have learned very, very much so that my body, created by a God who is amazing, that my body can do things that are beyond my imagining. The power and strength contained within the human body is really phenomenal. But we as humans hardly ever test our bodies. We hardly actually really, really push them to some sort of limit, particularly when you're 45 years old and you're a priest. But when you do push your body, you actually create this really, really powerful sense of encouragement, of confidence, of strength that then flows into other areas of your life, whether it be your relationships, whether it be you're seeking for virtue, whether it be in your business, whether it be in just crushing your emails and getting them done because you believe that you can, because you know that you can. Number 6, you will learn from this challenge that you will accomplish things in your life when you break them down into digestible parts. Going into this challenge and speaking with some of my friends that were doing this challenge, there came a point where I was like, are you guys still doing these consistently, or are you breaking them down into smaller component parts? I remember I was doing my push-ups back to back to back. I got into the mid 70s and I got really, really sick with just a cold or something. And so I broke them into 2 groups. And I was doing 2 groups of 35. And then I just kept growing those 2 groups up to 40, up to 50. Then eventually at one point I was doing 5 sets of 50 every single day and kind of growing up those. And then eventually at one point I was just I think I can do 100 push-ups. So my norm now is I do 3 sets of 100 and then I add on the change after that. But the reality is that I can't do 318 push-ups today consecutively, but I can break it down into sets that I can do. And we need to know this in our own life. Yeah, so many of us will look hey, I want to do this. I want to be successful in business. Hey, I want to be successful in any other talent or trade that you have in your life. You need to break it down. How do I take what seems to be something that is, I can't accomplish that, to something that I can do? Well, you break it down. You break it down into component parts that you know you can crush and that you can do. That then creates success, which builds momentum, which then ultimately brings you to the finish line. In our life, we look at something that we want and we're just like, it's unattainable. I can't do it. I'll never accomplish it. No, break it down. If you break things down into steps, it allows you to then accomplish what seems to be unaccomplishable. Okay? Number 7, getting others involved. A big part for me in this challenge has been the fact that I've had some brothers that have stuck with me. Now, I'm not even joking. I probably had 70 people that originally had started off in this challenge, and there are now 3 others with me. But it is powerful to know that I am with those 3 other guys, and those 3 other guys are with me. Accountability is huge, but not just accountability of those who are doing the challenge with you, but also accountability of friends, of parish, and of family. So it was key for me to actually tell other people that I was doing this so that they would ask me about it. Because, when it's 9:30 at night and you still have 200 push-ups to crank out, or it's 9:30 at night and you just have even just 20 left to do that day, to know that other people are engaged in this and that you don't want to let them down or you want to fail them is really, really key. I always like to say, God didn't make us to live in isolation. He didn't make us to live alone. He made us to live with others and for others. And that's why accountability is so key. So finding someone else to do this challenge with, encourage them to encourage you. It's absolutely key. Number 8 is setting milestones. So with this group of other guys that we've been encouraging each other with, I would always, in my calendar, I would circle big days. When we got to 100, when we got to 150, when we got to 200, when we got to 250, when we got to 300, I would send out motivational messages. I would write them personal notes of affirmation. I would send them an amazing motivational YouTube video and just be like, hey, watch this today, and get super jacked up about the fact that we just hit 300. I would send them biblical verses that would go with the when we were at 2:12. I sent out Galatians chapter 2, verse 12, as just to inspire them along the way. But you have to set milestones, and you need to celebrate what you believe in. I clearly believe, in my heart, celebrating what you believe in and celebrating accomplishments is quintessential to good living. So what do you believe in? Do you believe in your marriage? Do you celebrate it? Do you believe in your children? Do you celebrate them? Do you believe in life? Do you celebrate birthdays? Do you believe in Christ? Do you celebrate his passion, his death, his resurrection? We need to celebrate what we believe. And so celebrating milestones and celebrating accomplishments, absolutely key. Number 9 is good technique. And I'm a Catholic priest and I'm going to talk about good technique for push-ups. But early on for me was an idea of the fact of hey, if I'm going to do this, and if you begin to think about the fact, if I'm going to do something 66,795 times, if I'm doing it wrong, that could be catastrophic. That could really injure me. So I contacted one of my old friends from high school, actually from back in my old days in Waukesha, who now runs a gym. And I was like, hey, Dan, I'm thinking about doing this challenge. What would be your tips? And his 2 tips were this. Number 1, use good form. Number 2, if you get injured, stop until you're back in the game. And I think that those pieces of advice were so key. But think about in our own lives, if I have bad technique in anything, and the more that you multiply that, the more damage you're going to do. If I have a bad technique in how I communicate with people, that is going to overflow and cause catastrophic things in my relationships. If I have bad technique in my prayer life, if I have bad technique in how I love other people, if I have bad technique in my interpersonal skills, if I have that's gonna ultimately, when you begin to multiply that, you begin to see holy cow, I'm hurting myself and other people. This is why seeking for excellence in our lives is actually a great way that we glorify God. And it can be the simplest thing of just crushing emails. I have a technique of getting my emails answered. I have a technique to make things work well. So the same is true in application to this, because when you begin to multiply it, you begin to see the impact that has in your life. So I think that it's key, when we look at the push-up challenge, I watch multiple videos. I talk to some other people, what is good form? Because I need to have good form so that I don't hurt myself and not allow this challenge to be what it is. Number 10, the thing that I have learned from this challenge is that time passes. Time passes, and actually time passes a lot faster than I could ever imagine. To think now that like I'm on like day like 318 or 319 and I started on January 1st, to think that I'm already here is literally mind-boggling, like blowing my brain. It's crazy to think what the human body can endure. It's crazy to think that like what our bodies can take on. And when I begin to think about how quickly things are going, when I think about the fact that there's less than 50 days left in the year 2021, and somehow this has happened this quickly, it amazes me. But that's a great confidence booster, that like no matter what struggle we're going through, time is gonna move on. No matter the challenge I'm in, time is gonna move on. No matter what I'm in right now, 50 days, 20 days, 30 days, like it's gonna happen. And so as we move closer to the beginning of 2021, I wanna invite you to participate in the 66,795 push-up challenge. I'll just call it the push-up challenge, as I said before. Do you believe that you could accomplish 66,795 push-ups? Many of you are gonna say absolutely no, but let me ask you a question. Can you do one push-up? Because if you can do one, I bet you could do just one more. Think about this, pray about it, consider it. Join us for this push-up challenge. Text push-up to 84576, 84576. I guarantee you these 10 things that I have shared with you today, there are probably 1,000 other things that God wants to show you and reveal to you to help you to become a saint and to help you to become who God is calling you to be. So let's crush it. Join me in 2022. I plan on starting on day 1 with 1 push-up and cranking all the way through December 31st. 66,795, you can do it. It's accomplishable. What's just one?